Welcome to our U.S. briefing program. Today, we have some significant updates that could shake things up in the economy and politics. First up, President Trump is gearing up to unveil his new tariff plans on April 2nd, which he calls Liberation Day. These tariffs aim to balance trade and boost local manufacturing, but there's a lot of uncertainty about how other countries will respond. Analysts are concerned about potential price hikes for consumers and the overall impact on the economy, which is already facing recession fears. In other news, U.S. airstrikes in Yemen have resulted in the deaths of 4 individuals, with the Pentagon announcing the deployment of a second aircraft carrier to the region amid escalating tensions. This military action comes in response to threats from Houthi forces, raising concerns about retaliation from Iran and the precarious situation in the Middle East. Lastly, in a surprising turn of events, Wisconsin's Supreme Court race saw Judge Susan Crawford defeat the Musk-backed candidate, preserving a narrow liberal majority. This election became the most expensive judicial race in U.S. history, highlighting the influence of wealthy donors in politics. Crawford's victory is seen as a win for democracy against the backdrop of significant financial excesses. Please stay tuned for more detailed coverage. CNN reports on President Donald Trump's highly anticipated Liberation Day, set to unveil a new round of tariffs that could significantly alter the landscape of international trade. With the promise of reciprocal tariffs, Trump aims to address trade imbalances and bolster domestic manufacturing, but this strategy may lead to escalating tensions as countries respond with their own countermeasures. The uncertainty surrounding the specifics of these tariffs has left businesses uneasy, and the potential for immediate implementation adds to the chaos. Analysts warn that Trump's approach could lead to increased consumer prices, financial market instability, and even recession, as the economic ramifications of these tariffs unfold. In a separate development, Al Jazeera highlights the ongoing conflict in Yemen, where U.S. airstrikes have killed 4 individuals in the Hodeidah region, marking a continuation of military actions against Houthi forces. The U.S. has ramped up its military presence in the Middle East by deploying a second aircraft carrier, the USS Carl Vinson, alongside the USS Harry S. Truman. Amidst this military escalation, Houthi forces have retaliated by targeting U.S. naval vessels, raising the stakes in a volatile region. The Pentagon's commitment to regional security suggests that the U.S. will maintain its aggressive stance, further complicating an already precarious situation as tensions with Iran also rise, with threats of military action looming. The Australian Broadcasting Corporation discusses the potential implications of Trump's tariffs for Australia, a nation not typically among the top U.S. trading partners. While Trump's tariffs aim to protect U.S. industries, they could inadvertently impact Australian exporters, particularly in sectors such as beef, pharmaceuticals, and precious metals. Analysts note that Australia might face indirect consequences if global trade dynamics shift, leading to increased competition in local markets. As the world braces for the fallout from Trump's tariff announcements, the uncertainty surrounding international trade relationships looms large, with many countries, including Australia, keenly observing how these policies will unfold and affect their economies. Associated Press reports that the recent Wisconsin Supreme Court election marked a significant victory for Democrats, with Judge Susan Crawford defeating conservative Brad Schimel. This election was particularly notable due to the involvement of billionaire Elon Musk, who funneled over $21 million into the campaign, including paying individual voters to boost turnout. Musk's influence became a focal point for Crawford and her supporters, who argued that he was attempting to buy the election. In her victory speech, Crawford declared a triumph for democracy, asserting that justice cannot be purchased. The election not only preserved a liberal majority on the court but also underscored the potential implications for upcoming national political battles, especially regarding voting rights and redistricting. The Guardian highlights that Susan Crawford's win solidified a 4-3 liberal majority on the Wisconsin Supreme Court, a crucial outcome given the court's role in addressing significant issues such as abortion rights and congressional district maps. The election saw historic voter turnout, with some polling places running out of ballots due to the unprecedented engagement. With over $80 million spent, the race became the most expensive judicial contest in U.S. history, largely driven by Musk's financial contributions. Democrats successfully mobilized voters by framing Musk's involvement as an affront to democracy, which energized grassroots support and donations. Crawford expressed her determination to deliver fair and impartial decisions as she prepares to take her seat on the bench. Yahoo US recounts Democratic Senator Cory Booker's historic 25-hour speech in the Senate, where he passionately critiqued President Donald Trump's policies and invoked the legacy of civil rights leader John Lewis. By breaking the record for the longest Senate speech, Booker sought to draw attention to the moral crisis facing the nation and the need for political action against perceived injustices. His speech resonated with many as it connected historical struggles for civil rights to contemporary issues, emphasizing the importance of standing up for democracy. The support he received from fellow members of the Congressional Black Caucus underscored the collective desire for a more assertive democratic response to the challenges posed by the Trump administration and figures like Musk. Booker's call to do something echoed Lewis' legacy and aimed to inspire a renewed commitment to justice and democratic values. Australian Broadcasting Corporation reports that Australia has taken a bold stance against social media giants like Meta and X, demanding they pay for news content or face restrictions on access. The introduction of the News Media Bargaining Code in 2021 marked a significant shift in media reform, compelling platforms to negotiate payments with news outlets. However, Meta's resistance to renewing deals, despite initial agreements worth millions, has led to a stalemate, with the Australian government now proposing a tax incentive to encourage compliance. This contentious media law has drawn attention from the United States, as it is included in a report highlighting trade barriers, potentially complicating relations as former President Donald Trump hints at new tariffs. The situation has escalated to the point where Australia's media regulations could become a bargaining chip in a broader global trade confrontation. Yahoo US shares that Jill Underly has successfully secured a second term as Wisconsin's state superintendent, defeating Republican-backed candidate Brittany Kinzer. Underly, who has been a staunch advocate for public education, faced scrutiny over her approval of changes to state testing standards and communication with school districts. Despite these challenges, she rallied support from the Wisconsin Education Association Council and the Democratic Party, which invested significantly in her campaign. Throughout her tenure, Underly has focused on substantial funding for public education, proposing a budget that would allocate over $4 billion to schools. She has also criticized her opponent for lacking experience in Wisconsin's public school system and for supporting school choice programs, arguing that the state cannot sustainably fund two separate education systems. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.